How's it going, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another fun Friday. While we wait for some people to hop on, I'll show you one of perhaps the most beautiful Apistogramma species currently in the hobby. These are Apistogramma species Alto Tapiche. They come from Peru, and they've got an interesting story behind them. They live really far away from the main exporters, so it takes a very big group effort with a lot of local fishermen and travelers to travel upstream through various rivers and creeks for about 3 days just to get to the location where these are caught. So to have them is truly special. And you can see just how colorful they are. The males have those awesome red stripes, blue spots on the face, yellow edges on the fins. I believe we have one pair up on the website right now. We did sell 2 this week to 2 lucky customers. And I believe I might have 1 or 2 extra females after that pair sells as well. So if you do want some and you miss out, just shoot me an email. I'll just double check the inventory, but that's a great looking Apisto. Below them, we've got the wild Colombian angelfish. These are just basic angels, similar to what you would call just a silver angel in the hobby if it was captive raised, but these are going to have a nicer, more defined stripe pattern on them. As you can see, they're very obviously striped with those 2 nice stripes plus the 3rd over their eye. And they will have a little bit of a nice gold color on the top half of their body when they mature as well. Right now they're about the size of a quarter. Maybe some of them are as big as a $50, but they're perfect size to go into any new tank that you're starting. They won't be able to eat any tetras, so you know, a lot of the time I see people buying big angelfish and things like rummy nose and cardinals, and while that can work out, I've seen it plenty of times where it doesn't work out because the cardinals are just too small and they become a snack. So starting small is always a good choice. And these would be an excellent choice for that. They'd look really great in a nice big biotope aquarium. And below them, you've got tons of room for some banjo cats. And these guys are pretty quiet during the day. Like most catfish, they like to come out at night and scavenge for some food. They also like to bury themselves, as you can see. But really a fun catfish. They do get pretty active. You can see them scooting around in the evening times. And they're not too expensive. They're only, you know, $5-10 bucks, something like that. So that's a very good choice for those who are interested in catfish. We've got some blue Medusa Plecos back there. You probably can't see them too well because 1, they are a dark fish, but 2, they're hiding in the back. But the blue Medusa is an ancestral species, so they're related to the common bushy nose. They do have a little bit of a wider body, a little bit of a stubbier appearance, but they do get bristles similar to, you know, your super reds, your green dragons, your blue eyes, all those common bushy nose. Some of them even get little tiny white spots, and you can kind of see it on some back there, but probably won't pick it up in the video. Those are very beautiful as well, similar to like a 183 Pleco. Up here we've got some green neons. We've still got, I believe, 3 tanks of these. We sold through 1 already. They came in so nice. Looks like there's a cardinal there with them, which is common. It's it's not uncommon to catch similar sized fish when you're importing from South America, but these green neons came in basically what many would call jumbo size. So they're ready to plop into any mature tank. Highly recommend those. I don't know if I've showed these off before, but these are a new Acara that we have. These are tank raised in Florida. They are Krobia Jinguences. They are a species from the Xingu River in Brazil. They're only about an inch right now, but when they get bigger, they get a nice alternating brown and tan stripe pattern, and then they get some red highlights on their scales that are really pretty. And you can check out our website for a picture of a mature one. These guys are Apistogramma Arajuapa, the sunset Apisto. There's a nice male right there. You can see why they call them sunset. They get that lovely yellow belly. One of the underrated Apistos in my opinion. They're not the most flashy, but they do get pretty big. They have that nice yellow body. Females get gorgeous yellow with some striping on them. And they're loving their brine shrimp that they were fed earlier today with some flake food. They're digging it up through the sand. And sand is definitely, in my opinion, absolutely necessary when keeping Apistogramma. They are part of the geophagine tribe. So they're related to big earth eaters like redhead tapajos, Geophagus spheni, etc. And they do filter feed by picking up chunks of substrate, filtering it through their gills, and leaving behind the food. And while you can argue that yes, some Apistos will eat from the water column like these guys, they're just picking food out of the water. The other benefit that the sand brings is that as it goes through their gills, it cleans all of the gill rakers of any parasites or bacteria that might be trying to form and live there. And that's necessary because the fish obviously has to stay healthy. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't quite realize about most Apistogramma species is they're not going to do well if you have gravel or no sand at all. They'll either choke on the gravel, or they won't be able to get food and they'll hurt themselves, or they won't have any sand to filter out the nasty parasites that might be living in the gills. These are gold tetras out of Colombia. I've shown them before, we won't spend too much time, but a tank of these, you know, if you have a little desktop tank or a kitchen counter tank, definitely consider these guys. They don't get too big. They get maybe an inch long, inch and a quarter at most. I had some that were a few years old that were pushing inch and a quarter, but they're gorgeous. They school really well with each other, and they draw the eye from across the room. So when you have that little bookshelf tank over on the side table, or if you have a tank on the edge of your kitchen counter, or maybe at work on your desk, something small like this but still really flashy is highly recommended. These guys won't be too flashy yet because we just got them in and they're pretty small, but they're green fire tetras. You can see a couple of them are starting to get that fire, but most of them are too young. They're basically a lime green fish with a red anal fin and red lower half, essentially. Really neat little fish. And below them we have a recent Peruvian import, the Lima shovel-nosed catfish. Hey Bradley, yeah, we can show the star sapphires here in a minute. John, thanks for checking in. Don, what's up, man? Thomas, top of the morning, top of the morning. These Lima shovel-nose came in. You can see their full bellies. They're actually getting live endlers as well as bloodworms, and they seem to be taking both just fine. These guys do get pretty big. I wouldn't recommend them for anything smaller than a 75, maybe even a bigger tank. But they'll do great with angels, severums, geophagus, a lot of those bigger South American cichlids. Anything that they can't fit in their mouth, they'll be fine with. Here we've got a new pleco from Peru, the Ojo Chico pleco, or the small eye pop-up pinac pleco. These guys get big just like their cousins, the royal plecos. They will get, I believe, a foot, maybe 18 inches long, depending on, you know, the size of the tank. But if you look at the streamers on them, on their caudal fin, they're really gorgeous. And above them is another pinac type, but this one stays smaller. This is the Sacha Mama pleco. I'm not sure quite of the origin of that name, but they're the L number 351. And they get about 6 inches long. They too have nice trailers on the caudal fin, but they don't get quite as big, which is nice for some people. Here we got some common autos swimming around. These are now available for purchase. They settled in nicely. I love all the autos on the log. It looks so funny. And this is a fish that, for whatever reason, seems to do better when kept in groups. So even in like a 5 or 10 gallon tank, I'd recommend at least 5 of them, just so they have someone to hang out with. And if you don't have a lot of natural biofilm growing in your tank, if you keep it pristine and crystal clear, I highly recommend dropping some vegetables in them every now and then, such as spinach leaves or cucumber, stuff like that will be really nutritious for them to help supplement their diet. Hey Martin, yeah, we have a lot of new Africans. We've been pumping out new Africans all month, and I showed off a lot last week, and I'll hopefully be able to get to some today. We're just gonna finish up some of this new stuff here. We got false bandit cories, Corydoras mellini. They're about 1 inch right now, great size for shipping. We've got pygmy cories here. One of my favorites. I know I talked about them on the last live feed, I believe. So again, we won't spend too much time, but we've still got 2 tanks of these guys. So get them while we have them. A new cory I don't think I showed was the Leopard Quarry out of Peru. They don't seem to want to hold still, but I've got a good picture of them up on the website if you want to take a closer look. And these are actually Corydoras species C102 rather than Corydoras leopardis, which comes from Brazil. They're very similar, but the Leopardis have slightly smaller spots on them. And I believe they have a higher body. Hey Mochi, I'm glad to hear the fish are doing well. I love those Leopardis types, they're really interesting. Long pointed noses. Pretty aggressive with each other actually, but it's not too bad. Briefly, we'll show off the Norman Achilles. These are a lamp eye species. So you can see their little eyes poking through. These come from West Africa in shallow shaded streams in the jungle. They prefer pH anywhere from about 6 to 7, but they can tolerate higher if needed. Let's see. We'll spend a little bit of time on the Tanganikans today. We got some Xeno Tilapia. I'm trying to remember the species name. I'm not sure if they're bathyphilus or not, but they're from Mbilibili, which is a location, I believe, in Tanzania. I could be wrong though. And we got some Cyprochromis from Chituta in there as well. We actually got a couple starting to color up here. There's one male that's right on the top of the screen. He's getting colorful. There's one there that has a nice yellow on his tail, getting colorful. got some 6-stripe frontosas. And Tropheus duboisi. And that's how they look when they're young, and when they get old, they turn black with a little pale yellow stripe, interestingly enough. And then we have some Black Widow frontosa as well. I believe this is a mutation. I'm not sure if it's a hybrid or not, but I've read that it's a mutation where the stripes turn into big splotches on them, kind of like a spider web mosaic pattern. Very interesting fish. Just a brief shout out to Elongated rostratum, one of the more rare peacocks in the hobby. I do have juveniles now for those of you, I think it was Martin who was asking about new Africans. I just listed some 1-inch juveniles of these right now. That female's got some fry that she's ready to spit out probably. Really interesting peacock, nice long snout. Here we've got some Gelitochromis Mark Smithii and the Blueface Capilli brichardi. And Julies are interesting because they like to hang out on the edges of rocks, so you see them often kind of just almost perpendicular in the water. You look at this guy down there. He's just sitting perpendicular along the filter as if it were a big rock wall. We've got a few of these left. Gelitochromis brichardi. Sorry guys, my stabilizer died. Give me 1 second. Alright, we'll hold the phone. That'll be fine. This guy is Gelitochromis brichardi. Nice white Tanganyikan fish with that mask over its face. We've got 3 of those left. We got some Synodontis decorus over here, which have a really awesome pattern as well. Yeah, Martin, I think we have 1 Leporinus left. He looks good. I think it's the one I took a photo of too, so get him while we have them. I'm not sure we'll be in a hurry to get more of them, but if you miss out on him, we do have the Abramites as well, the high-back headstanders. These little white ones are Tilmatochromis vittatus. They are a long, slender shell dweller from Tanganyika. White fish, they have really big eyes, round faces. It's hard to focus on it right now. They're in with some Lalupi, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with. We got slender buffalo heads back in case you missed that. Steatocranus tenanti. These are wild caught. We are working on breeding some ourselves, and we have some fry we're growing up, but these ones are wild caught. They're very active little fish. You wouldn't know it by how they're behaving now, but if I drop some food in there, they would be flying all over the place. Really nice alternative to the normal buffalo head. They do get about the same length, but not quite as chunky. And here's those Abramites that we were talking about a second ago. Nice high back headstanders. They came in a pretty good size. Definitely one of the more interesting looking Characins out of the Amazon there. We've got some Pseudacanthicus species in here. The black ones with the white spots are the L97 Plecos. And then you can see one back there, the Leopardis Pleco L600. Those are brown with orange tails, orange fins. Ooh, maybe we can show off the ornate Tinapoma today. Hold still, buddy. Look at that. These guys are labyrinth fish, so they're related to gouramis. They come from West Africa. They're usually pretty peaceful and docile, but they can go after small fish, so, you know, when they get to their max size of about 4.5, 5 inches, I wouldn't keep any small tetras with them. But they'll be okay with cichlids, they'll be okay with catfish, bigger tetras like Congo tetras would be great. And you can kind of see it now on this guy, but I recommend looking up some Google images of mature ones, because they are Definitely one of the more stunning non-cichlids in West Africa, in my opinion. We've got some wild sailfin tetras. These guys are interesting because the males actually behave kind of like cichlids when they're spawning, and they take over a little cave. And they spawn in the cave and protect the eggs. But we've got a lot of these guys. They're ready to go. We've got a few green Distichotis left in stock. A smaller Distichotis species. Apistogramma panduro. I showed these last week as well. There's a nice male, and there's some females with the nice black spots on them. Great little dwarf cichlid. Wild-caught cockatoides from Peru. Red phantom tetras out of Colombia. Spotted headstanders out of Peru. Most of these guys are already gone. Guys, if you want to see anything, let me know. I'm just kind of talking here. Happy to show anything off. We're getting to the Africans, don't worry. They'll be next up after these last couple of tanks here. Here's a dwarf cichlid out of West Africa that we don't have for sale yet. I think we're going to probably hold on to some to try to breed them, but they are Congochromis dimidiatus. Alex, no regular dragon bloods, but we do have albino dragon bloods that look really interesting. They're just as red, if not just slightly more pink. Matt, we've got tiger Oscars. They're about 2 inches, nothing to write home about right now. I'm working on getting some platinum Oscars hopefully in again, but I'm not sure when that will be. Here we got some midnight peacocks in this tank. Nice male there if you get out of the shadow. There we go. There's another male. These midnights are pretty stocky looking too, which is interesting. They're not quite as long as some of like the Jake types, for example. We've got a few dragon bloods left, but they're shipping on Monday. Whiptail cats. We might have one tiger whiptail left, but he's probably buried himself somewhere. And we're working on getting the chameleon whiptails ready to go. Sign up for notifications for those because I only have 3 left, and I'm sure they'll go fast. Nice Eurekas. Some Taiwan reefs. Alright, let's show some of that new stuff off that people were asking about. We got new Africans. Let's see here. Well, we got a few of these left. The male German yellow blaze. He's the most fired up. We've got some Nimbochromis fuscataneatus here out of Germany. We've got Metrioclima doctari, which I showed off a few weeks ago as well. Nice yellow fish there. We got some turkeys straight out of a pond yesterday, if you want to see what those look like. Look at these. Boom. And the turkeys are kind of interesting because when we keep them, we found that when we throw them into a tank, they tend to darken up a lot. You see that one in the back, it looks like a red shoulder. That fish looked identical to these brighter ones. Same with this guy. They looked exactly identical, but when they go in the tanks, they start getting a hierarchy going. And then the ones that aren't dominant kind of darken up and lose some of that bright turquoise color. So don't be worried if you get a turquoise from us or a turquoise from us and it looks not like the picture, because they do color up. It just takes them a few weeks once they settle in. Here's another new African we got in this week, the Albino Eye Biter. We do have some regular ones in there as well. Dimidiochromis compressiceps. Those guys get huge, like 8 inches. We got a nice swallowtail male here. I like the swallowtails better than the otter points because I think they have more color. Like this guy's almost solid yellow or like orange. Otter points are more brownish in my opinion, but nice male there. A lot of juveniles, a lot of females as well because we tend to sell males more often, but I recommend people start breeding their fish. It's always fun. There's another new African. We have one male available, Otopharynx spots. One of the prettiest Malawi haps in my opinion. Literally like a rainbow. They have red fins, they have blue, green, and yellow scales. They got those interesting spots on them. That's a gorgeous fish. And he's in with some albino ruby red peacocks, which even at basically exactly 3 inches are already getting really nice color. We got yellow labs. We got Aratus. We got the basic stuff. Here we go. Someone was asking about star sapphires. They're 1 to 2 inch. They're not going to look like anything special right now, but you give them about a few more months in a tank and you'll start seeing those nice blues come out. Hopefully some chipping on them. Here we've got Pseudotropheus crabro and Metriaclima elongatus chueri. All the elongatus types have kind of been in a flux recently with what genus they're part of. Some get moved over to Chindongo, which is a new genus as of about 3-4 years ago. Others stay in Metriaclima or Pseudotropheus. But they all seem to have that black tips on their fins in common. And then the crabro, those are a big Mbuna. They get huge. The males turn nice and dark, like him. Here we've got some albino dragon bloods. You can see the one male back there. He's getting a nice red color to him. They do appear more orange in person than what it looks like it's showing on the film. And they seem to be taking a while to color up because there's only one male so far, but the picture on our website is of their father, so you can really get an idea of how they'll turn out when they get bigger. It'll probably be a while, to be honest, on regular dragon bloods, so in the meantime, I'd look for something like this, or a Eureka peacock, if you're looking for red. We've got some nice fire blue Indiwis available now, which have a little bit of red in them. I think I showed them off a few weeks ago, but just to remind you guys, there he is. Nice red anal fin, the blue body. Nairiri are nice and bright red. Let's see what else. We got some other new Africans over here. These are the Kyoga flamebacks. Kind of the prototypical haplochromis when you think of a Lake Victorian cichlid. They're pretty startled by my presence, so I might not get any footage here, but there's a nice male. Hey Takesha, thanks for joining. We have both jaguars and jewel cichlids in stock right now. Head to our website. Hemichromis moanda is the jewel cichlid you're looking for, and we've got plenty of jaguars. We just restocked them yesterday. In this tank we've got some juvenile Nimbochromis linni, which we bred from our German stock, and Xeno Tilapia zebroides from Cobway, which is a really nice Mbuna with a very fierce attitude. They don't get big, but they will dominate a tank. Got some juvenile blue neon peacocks growing up here. We've got some 5-banded barbs. We got so many of these in, they seem to just be constantly in stock, but they're a gorgeous fish for anyone who likes smaller tanks, little rasboras. They don't really get any bigger than this, about an inch long. But if you keep them over a dark substrate, they will darken up and get really red with green stripes. It's very incredible, the transformation they go through. These are another Elongated type. They are Elongated Neon Spot. I hope to have a feature video on these guys out soon, but these are one of my new favorites. That's a male right there, black with those little tiny spots. The females actually have some color. They're kind of like a blue-gray, and they get a little bit of striping on them. It's still pretty nice. This tank here, we've got Pseudotropheus, or I'm sorry, Chindongo salazai, as they're now called. The little yellow guys. As they mature, the males will turn into a fish similar to a Demasoni. You know, the black and blue stripes. And then the gray guys in here are Mason Reef zebras, which turn into a light blue or white striped fish. We got some red top hongies that are very skittish. We got some blue ribbon tetras above them, which I recommend for anyone with a tank 20 gallons or more. A very active tetra. Really nice colors on them. Blues, purples, a little bit of red in the fins. And then that thick stripe. Always very nice. We've got some tomato haps. These are Haplochroma species 35. And we posted a picture of them up on Facebook earlier this week. But we'll see if we can show off that male again. They're only about 2.5 inches, but look at the color on him. They're already breeding size. We sell them in pairs. They're not too expensive. A great choice for someone who is looking to start out with Lake Victorians. We got some Tetrastigma available as always. We don't plan on selling out of these anytime soon. A nice greenish fish with the pink in the fins. Gotta love that. Alright, let's jump over real quick to the rainbows. We got Peacock's rainbows in here. We've got pricey rainbows. Chilatherina pricei. A rare fish in the hobby. They're kind of a yellow-green color. Very hard to pick up at their current size, but we do have some males coloring up in there. We've got Melanotanius Susia, the Skull Creek rainbow. They used to be classified as Maccullochi, but got described about 4 years ago. These fish are nice. They're black and yellow striped, which is not a common color for rainbow fish. We've got some Millennium rainbow males. One of our favorites, solid red color when they get big, with a little bit of bronze. We've got a few Parva rainbows left, but I believe some of them are going out on Monday, so get them if you want them. We got nice threadfin males in stock. We do have some females as well. I know a lot of times suppliers don't send females for whatever reason, but ours does. These are one of my new favorites, the Melanotanius sexlineata from Tabubil. They're a very interesting color. They're yellow with little red stripes on them, and they actually get little red lips too. Probably won't pick up on film. They're still pretty young. I mean, they're only about an inch long, 1.5 inches, the biggest ones. But they are very interesting. Weird body shape, stubby head, nice red stripes on a yellow body. You don't see it often. We got some new Bozemanii in. These guys we're selling as pairs. They're the 2-inch plus size. And then we have a bunch of males that are slightly younger. This rainbow here we are actually keeping to grow up a bit just so we can see them when they get big. These are Melanotanius Susia. They come from Susie Creek, and our owner, Mike Drotti, actually helped collect the first ones on a collecting trip a few years ago. This fish is about 2 inches long. They get about 4 or 5 inches long, like most rainbows, and they get solid red with those black edges on the fins. Really, really amazing species. We got some Fletcher Creek rainbows, another undescribed species. Kind of like a dark blue, navy color striping with some green in the scales. We got some Doherty rainbows, or zigzag rainbows here. Females are gray, kind of olive green maybe. Males are silver with those nice red zigzag stripes. Wow. Got some rainbow cichlids, one of our favorites. Those back there are probably about as big as they get, maybe 5 inches, maybe 6 if they're old. Really nice color on them. Got some Synspillum. We've got Herichthus thomasopoensis, similar to green Texas or electric blue Texas or Minklei, just from a different region. We got small bleaker eye, which I don't think a lot of people realize. Bleaker eye don't get black until they get big. So they're actually a brown or olive green fish with those little spots. These guys we're pretty hyped about. Trichromis salvini from the Tabasco or Grijalva region. Males are super nice yellow with the red belly. This, I believe, is a Rusty Wessel strain. For those of you familiar with one of the legends in Central American cichlid collecting and keeping. Let's see if this guy will show his side off. Oh my goodness, look at that. These guys are straight out of the pond too. Super colorful. Super aggressive though as well. So they need a big tank. We got some nice red spot severums. We've got 2 sizes. These are the 2 to 3 inchers. Look at that guy. He's fully colored in spots already, which is rare. Usually they don't get spots till much later. And we've got some small ones here, 1 to 2 inchers. Good old electric blue Acaras. Tiger Oscars, we'll show them briefly. And someone was asking about jewel cichlids. Here they are. These are Hemichromis species Moanda. And they are probably the most peaceful jewel cichlid in the world. They don't seem to mind each other, which is very rare for jewels. These little Acara types are Cyclosoma species from the Moroni River. We aren't sure exactly what they'll turn into because they're fairly nondescript right now, but they should end up looking kind of like a Dimeris if you're familiar with those. Got some new cories in. Brocus multiradiatus. They are about 3.5 inches long right now, believe it or not, and about 1.5 inches tall. For reference, this is a 75-gallon tank that they're in. They are not small fish. They look awesome underneath big cichlids, South American cichlids. Even centrals too, like they should be able to withstand any attacks because of their nice hard scale exterior. What else we got? We got some Tinfoil Barbs. Michael, I don't have any discus right now, my friend, sorry. I ordered some. I hope to have them in about 3-4 weeks, but that all depends on how they get in. For now, you'll have to deal with these mouth-brooding severums, the Liberifer. Got bigger electric blue Acaras, taking up a 75. Always very active fish. Flagtail Procolotus from Colombia. We've got a few of these left, the Hemichromis exul. Those are kind of jewel cichlid. If you're after jewel cichlids, you might check these out too, because they're not your common jewel. They're a little bit different. They're nice red with black fins. They don't have spots on their body. Really interesting pattern. And they're fairly new to the hobby too. They only started being exported about a year or two ago, to my knowledge. I believe we have one Arajuapa pike left from Colombia. Came in really nice and healthy. We restocked Peacock Gudgeons yesterday and they came in huge. They're like 2, some of them maybe even 3 inches long. It's crazy. Got a bunch of redhead tapajos, which are always looking for food. We got some red hook silver dollars down here. Only about 9 left. They get big, they get like 6 inches long, really nice fish. We've got black bar silver dollars here swimming above some Pictus cats. Black bars are tank bred. The red hooks and Pictus cats are both out of Colombia. We've still got some Cupid cichlids, Biotodoma cupido, out of Peru. We've got emerald cichlids, Cribroheros robertsoni. These are starting to color up. They're still a little bit skittish, but you can see some of the males are starting to turn. We got common cribs up here. Nice West African species. Super easy to breed. This was one of the ones that introduced me to cichlid breeding way back when. I had a pair of these in a 29-gallon with some Tetras. And they would spawn in a little cave and parade the babies out all day. And then at night they'd shuffle all the babies back into the tank, or into the cave. It was very fun to watch. Tiger barbs, Bolivian rams, Nile puffers, aka Fajaka puffers. They're always eager to eat. I think that might be it, you guys. If you have any other questions, let me know. I know I went quickly on some of those fish, but we have a lot of exciting stuff. All these Tanganyikans we're breeding, we're importing South Americans every month. We've got an Indo order hopefully coming in soon. So yeah, if you have any other questions, hit us up via email or message on Facebook and Instagram. We're happy to answer anything you have. If there's something you wanted to see but didn't in this live stream, let us know. Hey Joseph, we showed off Frontosa earlier, but I'm standing right next to him. I'll show him again. Here we go. We got some 6-striped Frontosa here, 1 to 2 inches. They look nice. And we got some Black Widow Frontosa as well. Tank raised in Florida. These are a little bit smaller, about 1 inch, but they're starting to get some nice patterns. Yeah, man. Pick some up. Alright, I'll leave it with this. This is a breeding group of Cyprichromis leptosoma from Karingi. You can see the males back there with the nice yellow fins. Earlier this week, a lot of the females were holding, and we actually stripped them all. We got some nice eggs, some babies. Hopefully we'll have some more to sell, but I think we still have about 8 or 9 in the selling tank right now. So if you miss out on them, don't worry, we'll have more, but definitely get the ones we have because they're already about 2 inches and starting to show some color here. So yeah, Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you next time.